I just got in a huge fight with my dad. My dad mostly kind of stays off my back these days. He's, grown accustomed to the way that I am, that you know, I'm just a loser and I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life probably. And I think he's just gotten used to it. So, we just haven't really had a big fight in a while, and then it happened. So what happened was, you know, with the whole gym girl situation, and if you're new to the channel, I'll just explain briefly. There was this girl that I was texting with, and we had arranged to finally meet up in person and go on a date. And then we did a FaceTime, we did a video call, and she saw me, she hung up on me. So, I haven't heard from her since. The date was canceled, obviously. Well, to go on the date, my mom and dad both knew about the date, and I was supposed to borrow my dad's truck, right? My dad was going to let me borrow his truck to go on the date. And when the time came for the date, I just didn't have the heart to tell my dad the truth, to tell him what happened. So I just took his truck out and I just drove around. I just, I put on my new clothes that I bought to go on the date, or that my mom bought for me to go on the date, got in the truck. I borrowed my dad's truck and I just drove around. And the next day, I pretty much, after that, I was just kind of avoiding my dad. My mom was texting me, asking me how the date went. I just ignored her, didn't answer her, didn't respond. And, I live with my dad, so I had to, physically avoid him. When I could hear him milling about the house, I just stayed in my room, didn't go out to the kitchen to get a cup of water or anything, because I just didn't want to face reality. I just didn't want to have to tell him how I got rejected. How I had this one good thing, this one, potential for something good going in my life. And I just got brutally rejected again, like a loser. And I didn't want to have to see the disappointment on his face when I told my dad about that. And I figured, he's probably going to be mad that I still took his truck out and pretended to go on the date when I didn't. And I was right about that. So yeah, I finally told my dad that, I actually got rejected. I just told him the whole truth, everything that happened. She wanted a video call. She saw my face and she hung up, and I don't really know what the deal is, if she thought I was ugly or something. But yeah, so I didn't go on the date. And then he immediately, he doesn't even care about how I feel about the whole situation, how depressed that makes me to get rejected like that. He's just immediately like, okay, so you're telling me you took my truck out, wasted my gas just to drive around, and you didn't even go on a date. He's just worried about, not worried, he's pissed. He's pissed that I took the truck out and I wasted gas, Because I get it. It's expensive. Gas is kind of expensive. And, his truck, he's got an older truck, pickup truck. It doesn't get good miles per gallon. It doesn't get good mileage. So I understand. He's right. He's right to be mad at me. I deserve it. So my dad's yelling at me about that. But I'm not really saying much because I know that I'm wrong, and he's just going on a tirade about how pissed he is that I wasted all that gas. It is what it is. He kind of calmed down a little bit. I just walked off because I was done hearing it. I just got brutally rejected. I don't need my parents mad at me now too. Right? It's not making things better for me. It's making things a lot worse, actually. So I just walked off, went to my room, closed the door. Stayed in there for a few hours. Well, a little bit after that, my dad knocks on the door, tells me supper's ready. He cooked something for dinner, so I get out to go get supper. As soon as I get in the kitchen, I start to fix myself a plate, figure out, well, supper was really done, but my dad was also kind of using this to lure me out so he could berate me again. So, now he starts getting on to me about chores and stuff. He starts going off about, not only do you waste my gas money and take my truck out driving around, there's a pile of laundry this high in the laundry room that you still haven't taken care of, that you said you would take care of, yada, yada, yada. And the thing is, he was mad about the laundry that I was supposed to do, that I agreed to do. Here's the thing. I did the laundry. I did do it. I already washed the clothes. and I dried them and I hung them all up and folded it and everything, you know? So he's just yelling at me about this. There's a stack of dirty clothes this high in there. I tell him, I already did it. I already washed the clothes. And, you know, he just keeps on. He's like hell you did. Like hell you did. I know you didn't wash those damn clothes yet. I don't know. And he gets like this sometimes where he just, you know, I think he had been drinking. And my dad's never like abusive or anything, but he does get like extra angry when he's been drinking. And, you know, I can't really blame him about getting mad at me. I guess I kind of deserve it. But yeah, so he's getting on to me about the laundry that I already did. He's like, you know, he doesn't believe that I did it. And then eventually, you know, we're arguing about it. It's stupid. And I say, well, just go look. Go look. Go into the laundry room and look at it. I did it already. I think at that point he started to realize, yeah, I did actually do the laundry. So he's like, you know, okay, maybe you did, but forget it. And then he goes back to talking about how I took the truck and wasted all that gas money. Then he starts talking about how he's getting on to me about how I made my mom buy me new clothes and then I didn't even go on a date. So then he starts to, you know, it seems like he put forth this little theory he has that there never was a date to begin with. So he starts saying to me, you know, I bet you never had a date. I bet you weren't even talking to a girl. And I understand why he might think that, but I am kind of offended by this because it's like he's trying to say that I was just lying about this date to both of my parents so that I could get some new clothes and I guess get to borrow his truck and go out somewhere, which I don't know what he thinks I was doing with that. But I literally just took his truck and just drove around in depression and listened to music and just drove around for I don't even know how long, like an hour or something, and I came back. But yeah, so my dad starts arguing with me. I don't know if he really believes that Gym Girl was totally made up so that I could, I guess, get my parents to buy me new clothes, as if I cared about having new clothes. I don't know. So anyways, my dad is absolutely pissed. Then he starts talking about, you know, you need to get a job. You need to actually get a job. And man, it has been a long time. You know, my dad used to get on me a lot. When I moved back in with him a few years ago, he used to get on to me a lot about finding a job, but he had kind of stopped doing that. But then with this fight with my dad now, he just really started going off, bringing up all the classics, you know, talking about the chores, talking about you need to find a job. You've just been sitting around here on your ass all day, not doing nothing. It's time you really find a job. Then this is what really actually frustrates me. He starts going on about, he's like, you have a master's degree. It should be easy for you to get a job. Just apply to jobs and they'll give you a job. You have a master's degree. As if that, you know, because in his mind, he's still got that old school mindset. He didn't even go to college, by the way, because he didn't have to. When he graduated high school, he could easily just walk into any place with a firm handshake and some confidence and land any job he wanted, because that's how it was back then. It's not how it is now. It's not how it is now at all. And my parents just really don't understand how it is now, because, you know, my dad's retired. My mom doesn't understand it either, although she does still work. But God, it's so brutal. So yeah, my dad starts getting on to me. He starts pressing me, you know, he threatened to kick me out of the house if I don't get a job. He's like, you better get out. He's telling me that tomorrow I have to get a job. He's telling me that I have to go out, like physically go out of the house and look for jobs. So that's another thing. I even agreed with him, like, okay, I'll look for jobs, you know. I tell him I'll get online tomorrow, I'll get on Indeed, and I'll apply to every job posting for a programmer that I can find. And he was like, no, you need to get any job. You can borrow my truck tomorrow. In fact, he said it like this. He was like, you can borrow my truck tomorrow. In fact, you're gonna borrow my truck tomorrow. You're gonna get your ass out there and you're gonna drive around and you're gonna walk into every business you see along the road and you are going to apply for a job. So I guess he wants me to apply for jobs at McDonald's and Burger King, at gas stations, everywhere, you know? He just wants me to get any job, a minimum wage job, anything. And I tried telling him, you don't, even for those jobs, you apply online. And I started, tell him, okay, okay, I'll apply for jobs. I'll apply for McDonald's if that's what you want me to do. I'll apply for a job at Taco Bell, but you do it online. You don't, he just kept cutting me off like, no, you're going to get your ass in that car tomorrow and you're going to go in person and ask for a job. So I tried telling him, you don't just walk into Taco Bell and ask for a job. You apply online. I know what's going to happen when I go in person. They're going to tell me we don't have paper applications. You got to fill it out online. But my dad just doesn't understand that. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens, what's going to happen. But my dad told me that if I don't go out and look for jobs tomorrow, he's going to kick me out of the house. And I don't really understand this because my dad has told me several times in the past that no matter how bad the situation is, I always have a roof over my head. I'll always have a place to sleep in his house. And I guess now, I don't know what changed, but now he's starting to say he's going to kick me out if I don't go out and get a job. If I don't go out and look for a job tomorrow, he's going to kick me out, is what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Honestly, I don't think he will kick me out, but that's what he's saying he'll do. I don't think he will. I hope not. I really don't know. So maybe tomorrow I'll borrow his truck and just drive around again like I did when I pretended to go on the date, because I'm not walking into McDonald's and asking for a job application, because that's not how it works. I will get online and apply for programming jobs. I'm not working at Wendy's, man. It's not even worth it to do it. I don't care. I'm not going to do that. I will appease my dad by applying to jobs and maybe pretending to drive around, but it's so stupid, I'm not going to actually waste all my time and effort to walk into places and embarrass myself by asking for a job application in 2024. So they can just look at me like I'm an absolute moron that doesn't even know what year it is. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure my dad's not going to kick me out of the house, but yeah, that's what he's threatening. So there it is.